Hello fellow Knobheads and Beat people, I'm George, the Gentleman Rocker, and welcome to the 6th episode of Modular Monday. In this series I want to show you my adventures into the modular world, with all its side quests like synth DIY, of course jamming on my setup, modules and hardware stuff. This and even more I might not even think about right now. So in this episode we're gonna take a look at the Dreadbox Hades DIY, which is or has been a DIY kit and is now sold only pre-made, but can be put into a Eurorack or used standalone. So the Dreadbox Hades DIY is the successor of the Dreadbox Hades, which was a desktop synth. As I said, it was available as a do-it-yourself kit, but it's not anymore as there were a lot of problems with parts and stuff like that. And it was more work for Dreadbox to source the parts and put them together as they made money with it. It comes in a cardboard box and is a Eurorack module that it's built into it. And you have MIDI and power in the cardboard box, but you can unplug the module and put it into your modular and work it from there. So let's take a look how it looks in my system. So the module is built in 4 blocks. The first block gives you the oscillator. And there you can get the 1 volt per octave out in standalone mode, which is unused when used as a Eurorack panel. And the glide is unused too. The width slider sets a pulse width and has an in under it to change that via CV. Next are the sliders for the levels of sub-oscillator 1 and 2. And the pitch in is the volt per octave in. So if you might have some problems with the labeling, you have to go into the pitch in. The volt per octave plug is where volt per octave comes out. There also is a sync and the oscillator out, and over the sliders there's 1 knob for the tune and 1 to select the waveform. Besides that there's an external in. This sound is then sent to the next blocks, this filter. On top you have cutoff and resonance for the filter and a mode select that changes between 3 types of low pass filter and a high pass. The slider sets the envelope with attack and combined decay and release and sustain. The level sets the overall amount of the envelope affecting the filter. The drive is an overdrive into the filter to roughen the sound up. Under the sliders you find the gate in that triggers the envelopes and an out that gives you the envelope as CV. There's also a CV in to add to the filter. This then runs into the next block, the amp. It has an attack and release envelope which is triggered with the same trigger in the filter block. The master slider is for the master volume. It has a VCA CV in and out that sends the generated sound out. Finally, the 4th block is an LFO that outputs a square and triangle LFO out. The rate is set with the knob on top and shared between the 2 outs. The sliders attenuate the 2 LFO outs. And that's basically it. In desktop mode you get a MIDI in and a power in, but besides that it's the same. While not completely, you can use the 1 volt per octave out to get CV from your MIDI, and the glide will be useful only in standalone. So after a lot of talking, let's have a listen. So let's have a little talk about the setup here. You have the Arturia key step sending CV and gate to the module, and the module is run into the Demora, which acts only as a mixer and then is recorded. So now I'll shut up and play around with the sounds a little bit. This was the Dreadbox Hades DIY, and in the next week we'll take a first look at the Variegate 4 Plus from Eleco, which is a sequencer, and we will have it sequence the Hades.